you can have a piece of paper, or you can check off all the boxes, or you can go to all the websites and sign up for their programs. But if you don't develop relationships, it's of limited value because people do business with people that they know.
Absolutely. Follow the Leader features dynamic women entrepreneurs in their journeys to becoming a success in business. This podcast is an inspirational space for entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, and thought leaders as they share their keys to success. I am Chanel Christoph Davis, the CEO and founding partner of the largest woman and minority-owned sales tax advisory practice in the country, Davis & Harmon, LLC. Today marks the first time we're going to have an actual panel show. I've never had a show where I've had more than one guest, but this marks a very special occasion, so I thought this was the perfect time to do our first panel show for the Women Business Council Southwest. Today we have Debbie Hurst. She's the president and CEO of the Women's Business Council Southwest, and Sharon Evans, the owner and CEO of CFJ Manufacturing, and she's also one of our foundational WBE business owners. So she is here today to talk about the Women's Business Council, women's entrepreneurship, a great accomplishment that the council will be celebrating in 2020 is the 25th year of the organization, and we're kicking it off January 1st, 2020 with a year full of celebration. So to talk more about Women's Business Council and to introduce us to what they do is Debbie Hurst. Welcome.
Thank you, Chanel. Happy to be here.
Yes. So Debbie, we're going to kick off with you and ask you some formational, trying to orient the guest a little bit and explain to them a little bit more about Women's Business Council. Tell us about the organization and how it fits into women's business enterprises.
Okay, great. So as you said, we'll be celebrating our 25th year in 2020. We were formed we're a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping women-owned businesses grow and develop and be successful in procurement opportunities with corporations and the government. So that was our original kind of mission, to help women-owned businesses gain parity in the world, in U.S. economics and global economics. We do it in a variety of ways. The first is that we certify women-owned businesses. That means that we review the structure of the business to determine that they are at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled by women. Once they're certified, then they're a member of our organization. We also have corporate members and government entity members, local, state, national government. And these corporations and government are looking for women-owned businesses to do business with. But they're looking for they want the assurance that this truly is a woman-owned business. Correct. Because they've got supplier diversity programs geared toward just that, diversifying their supplier base. They want to make sure that the business truly is woman-owned.
Right.
So they rely on us for that certification.
Okay.
And then they rely on us for access to certified women-owned businesses. So that's what we do. We certify the business, and then we hold lots of events and procurement events, networking events, educational programming, all designed to help women-owned businesses grow, successfully compete for business, and also do business with one another.
That's right. And just full disclosure, I am, my company is a certified women-owned business enterprise. And one thing I do like about being a part of the network is that you guys take care of the whole entire woman and the entire organization. You are trying to ensure that we are growing professionally, that we are having our needs met to make sure that we are prepared for opportunities and aware, and that we have a seat at the table. So it's a huge organization that helps us, like you said, gain parity, really, and have a voice in the business economics. Why is it important to an organization to have a diverse supplier base?
Well, diversity brings innovation. I think that's the primary reason. Having diversity of thought, skill, preparation, more voices at the table end up developing and producing a better product. And so that's the primary reason. If we get stuck in a rut and are only doing business with one kind of business, then we're missing out on tremendous opportunities. That's one reason. Another reason is that corporations are interested in doing business with their customer base. So if you think about it, women-owned businesses are the predominant decision makers in terms of any goods or services that are bought. They are at least half your customer base, depending upon your corporation. And so it's important to do business with your customers. Corporations have long paid attention to employee diversity.
Yes.
But they also pay attention to supplier diversity because that really propels their product. And so it's just as important to get input from a diverse supply base as it is from a diverse employee base.
Yeah, that's important. I'm glad you pointed that out because I think traditionally people are very familiar with diversity and inclusion from a workforce perspective and how they hire and how they source employees. Supplier diversity is kind of its own separate silo, very hidden in the process in the supply chain. A lot of people probably never even heard of that term, are familiar with that there are corporate initiatives that's solely focused on really diversifying their vendor supplier base. So I'm glad you made that distinction because I often I'm asked, what do you mean when you say the supply diversity? People they're not familiar with that push of the initiative at all.
That's right. But it is a strong push. And so I think it's incumbent upon us to, hats off to you, Chanel, for focusing on this with your entrepreneurial listeners because so many of entrepreneurs are doing business, not direct to the public, but business to business,
B2B.
Business to government. Mm-hmm. And it's important to know that supplier diversity is huge in that space. And certification is your key to accessing those opportunities. So that's why certification is so important.
Absolutely. And I think it's important now to introduce Sharon Evans to the conversation. Sharon, you are one of our, I would say, foundational members in our local RPO here in Dallas. You are definitely a leader and one of the WBEs that the membership looks up to. So I thought it was important to have you here to discuss the 25th because you are so much a formational part of why we've made it to 25 years. So thank you for all of your efforts. And I want to talk to you about your background and how you came to be a part of this network as well. You started your company in 1983. I said earlier, you're the CEO and owner of CFJ Manufacturing, but you own not one, but three organizations because, hey, why not just do it 3 times over? CFJ Manufacturing, you have an embroidery division, as well as you do promotional products, uniforms for corporate entities. And you also have a collections fine jewelry retail store in Fort Worth, Texas, which I've looked at your website. And let me tell you, I need to get my husband to talk to you so that we can get some jewels flowing in this direction. Right. But your jewelry and your work is absolutely stunning. And you've been voted Fort Worth Best of Fort Worth more than one time, twice, right?
Last 2 years.
The last 2 years in a row, which is huge because the fine jewelry, that whole industry is so specific and so tight knit. The fact that you've, gone into this industry and really doing what you do, excellence, bringing your stamp and your excellence to the fore is really impressive. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you very much.
And the reason why I call you a foundational WBE, a member that really has shaped the network, is because you were named WBE Advocate of the Year twice, and since you've been a member, and also you've been inducted into the Women's Business Enterprise Hall of Fame.
Great.
So that's no small task or accomplishment. So again, thank you for all the work that you've done, and talk to us a little bit about your history and your business and how you've grown your business and how WBE the network plays a part in that growth?
Well, I often tell people that being a member and being certified through the council, we could probably be the poster child. We started very early on into the council. We had a corporation that I was working with at that point in time, actually J.C. Penney, who was one of the founding corporations to start the council, asked me to become certified. So,
And that's normally how people get introduced to the network, because my largest client asked me to get certified. So that's typically how we are even made aware that this is a thing.
And, at first, now it's so easy to get certified, but in the beginning, it was paperwork on top of paperwork, because they really, the council really does its job. They want to make sure that you are 51% woman-owned, that you are controlling. So once we became certified, it was like a door opening. JCPenney mentioned us to Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay called. We started receiving RFPs from, different corporations that were really looking to do business with women. And, I think it's very important, as Debbie said, that most of these organizations recognize that 84% of their business decisions on purchasing a product comes from women. So we are their customers. So in turn, doing business with us, it helps us to do business with them. So that's kind of how we got started. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to serve in many roles for the council. And through those roles, we have come a long way, I think. The council has gone from a couple of hundred, I think our first year, to 1,200 certified women-owned businesses now.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. I want to get feedback from both of you guys. How do you think, and I asked a couple people to submit questions to me for you guys, so this will be fun.
Okay.
How do you think the women have changed over the years when they come to you for certification? Have you seen any changes in the applications or the applicants or the business entities? It could be industry changes, the type the organizations are being certified, any trends?
So I'll start, I guess. Yes, the answer is yes. We've seen lots of changes over the years. Certainly changes in business structure as women business owners have learned about certification. More and more are coming to us now. And so in the early years, we saw a whole lot of sole proprietors, younger businesses, smaller businesses, and we've watched those we still get young businesses and small businesses and solo entrepreneurs, but we see more diversity, I guess, in the types of businesses that are getting certified. Businesses that are more complicated business structures, have more investors. My certification staff says there is never a dull moment in the certification department, because we've been doing this for 25 years, but you still see something new.
Brand new.
Still see, this is a question. Let's see how this. So the business diversity, I guess, and structure has changed. Women are in every industry. And I would say that's grown over the years. That we see women in more and more diverse industries. More and more traditionally male-dominated industries. So that's been a change. In fact, I'll just throw out a stat or two. The largest single subset of our members are in construction, architecture, and engineering.
Interesting.
And so
you wouldn't think that.
You wouldn't think that. But we've got members from one-person consulting firms to multi-million-dollar, even billion-dollar businesses. So everybody can gain value from certification, and from the connections and the networking, not only with corporate decision makers, but with one another. I guess we've certainly seen growth over the years. We have grown over the years. We started out just serving North Texas. And in fact, we were called the North Texas Women's Business Council.
Okay.
And as we grew, we took on additional territory and rebranded to the Women's Business Council Southwest. So we now serve a 4-state region.
Wow.
Central and North Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, and have a satellite office in Austin. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that speaks to the power of the network and the power of the programming that you guys are putting on, because, we have events all throughout the week, several times a month, and people are flying in to attend these events. So they're seeing value and they're gaining information and insights that they're taking back with them. So I think that's a kudos to you and your team, that you guys are doing a great job with programming. Yes, because otherwise people wouldn't travel here for, a happy hour. Why would they do that? That's crazy. But they're actually literally obviously gaining a lot of value. So that speaks to how great the network is and how strong it is.
Thank you.
So what changes have you seen, Sharon?
I think when you look back 20 some odd years ago when this council started, there were a lot of us younger, myself included. So there was a group of people who had started their businesses, and women owning businesses back at that particular time 20 years ago was not as much as the growth we see it now.
Yeah, it's like an explosion right now.
It's absolutely an explosion now, and a good explosion. But what we have found is those of us who were starting in the council have grown. Not only have we grown from our own companies, but we have grown in the knowledge to help those younger businesses coming into play. And I think that that's been very important, because we do a lot of interaction with young women wanting to start their companies. If they have a question, there's somebody that has an answer now. And I think that's very beneficial.
Yes.
So I've seen a lot of changes there.
Yes.
And networking is important. It is very important. 84% of my business comes from members that are within the council, both certified WBEs and corporations that are actively engaged.
That's amazing.
So it takes some time. But the avenues and the educational structure and the ability to get assistance is far greater now than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think the networking part is something that we should not, skip over at all, because, clearly people are being certified because they want a seat at the table and to have parity and get opportunities for federal and government contracts. But the networking piece is so strong as well. I can speak personally for myself. Walking into my first, WBE or national, there's a national organization as well that we fold into. And walking in and not knowing anyone and feeling so intimidated, which, may be a shocker, but I was like totally shy. I was like, oh my God, there's like 7,000 women here. Where do I begin? To now that I've been in a network almost 3 years, like the familiarity, like walking in and knowing folks and people speaking and waving. And now you guys know even my husband, and he's like, oh my God, people know me, So it's so comforting to have that network. I think as a small business owner or entrepreneur or really a owner of a corporation, a small business, you feel isolated at times. You don't know who to pick up the phone and call if you have a challenge or you have an issue come up. You can kind of feel alone, even if you're working with a partner. So I think, the extension of having that network and additional resources in your life that you can pick up the phone and ask a question to, I think is so valuable. And it's just a big part of the network that we don't really focus a lot on, but it for me is well worth the certification. So
I'm so glad you said that. It is so true. Of course, certification is kind of the bedrock and is important to having that stamp. But boy, if you don't do something with it, if you don't take advantage of the network, it's going to be of limited value. And Sharon, for example, is just, for all of her time in the council, she's been a resource to other women-owned businesses. So that kind of mentoring,
absolutely,
from someone who's been involved from day one, has been involved really in every aspect of our organization regionally and also nationally. man, it's tremendous support for up and coming businesses. We can't do enough networking for our members, and it's because, you can have a piece of paper, or you can check off all the boxes, or you can go to all the websites and sign up for their programs. But if you don't develop relationships, it's of limited value, because people do business with people that they know.
Absolutely.
So take that certification, but then get involved.
You have to be involved.
And I think that women are, I've watched this for 25 years. We just help one another. Mm-hmm. The women in this network,
we get it. Yes.
are invested in one another. I see women all the time who are talking to corporate representatives about somebody else's business and saying, you really ought to talk to
this
Chanel.
Company. Yes, yes.
It's just amazing.
Really, really good about that. And also very generous with our time.
Exactly.
We're very open. I found, I'm saying we, but, all the women in the network with, taking meetings, meeting you for coffee, just a sounding board. So it has been, for me personally, just amazing opportunity. And I do get a lot of feedback from prospective WBEs, or people who are interested in being certified. They want to know, how do I get in? How do I fit in? It's overwhelming. I would say, and this is my opinion, that you guys make it easy, because there's so many levels of ways to be involved. You have a monthly luncheon. At a minimum, you have to eat, right? So you can just decide, for the first 3 months, I'm just going to attend the lunch, and start to meet people that way. It's a smaller, more intimate setting. And then you build your way up to more of the foundational, signature events. But you have to show up. I tell everyone that don't just get the certification and go back to your office. And that's so easy, especially when you're a small business, because you're overwhelmed. Sure. You're probably doing everything, including the payroll. You're probably taking out the trash. You're probably, you're doing every aspect of your business. So it's so easy to squirrel away and just kind of stay in the business. But you have to step out and go out and meet people in order to grow your business. So I think you guys do a good job of making that part easy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what do you see? We are embarking on our 25th anniversary, which I think is phenomenal. Sharon, you are going to be our 25th anniversary signature WBE sponsor. Again, thank you. That's amazing. We're kicking off the 25th anniversary with our first signature event, which is the Parade of Stars. Yes. You want to talk to us a little bit about Parade of Stars?
Oh, sure.
This is my favorite event, by the way.
Well, you know what? It's my favorite event.
Yes.
It is, because it's an evening of celebration. The Parade of Stars is held annually. It will be on February 4th, 2020 at the Omni Hotel. It's open to the public, so you don't have to be a member to attend. But during the event, it will start with a cocktail reception, seated dinner, awards programming. And so our WBE members, Women Business Enterprises, women business owners who've been certified by us, we call them WBE members. There's a little bit of an alphabet soup in this organization. So many of them will be honored for advocacy and outstanding business practices, as well as our corporate members who will also be recognized. So it's a great evening. It's the evening where the corporate executives come out for this event, whereas at a very procurement related event, we'll get buyers and procurement professionals. But at this event, we get everybody from within the corporation who supports the council. And so it's an evening of celebration. It's a great way to see what the caliber of this organization is, to really kind of see the influence that we have in our North Texas area as well as the nation, because we've got corporate members. We're fortunate to have many Fortune 500.
We're very fortunate in Texas,
located right here.
Yes.
And the vast majority of them are active participants in our organization. And so we've just got great opportunities to connect. And so we do that every year at Parade of Stars. This year, we'll just add an extra level of celebration.
Glam. Yes.
Man, celebrating 25 years of success and recognizing folks from throughout our history. And So it'll just be a great evening.
Yeah, so we're going to drop, links to the website so that people can check it out.
Great.
Find out more about the organization as well, but also find out about Parade of Stars and some of the other signature events. You can go back and see kind of like the history of the Parade of Stars and the other signature events and look at pictures. It's a really cool organization. Yes. So what are you looking forward to in the 25th year celebration? We're going to do this for the whole 2020.
Well, I think it speaks, 25 years in this organization speaks so much to the growth, what it's, what it's done for women, and just to be a part of it for me is very exciting. I have appreciated very much the council asking me to do that, because having been there kind of from the early on beginning, to see where it has grown today, there's just an overwhelming pride inside of me for this organization. The corporations that have been engaged from day one, I think they should be beaming to see what they have done.
What they've created.
Oh my gosh. And the women that are recognized for their outstanding efforts. It's so important. And to know we've made 25 years and there's so much more to come is very exciting. And putting that out in front to say, here's what's next. Here's what we're going to do. Okay, here's where we're going to be.
This is where we're going to. You set me up for my next question.
Okay.
Actually, that was perfect. Go, Sharon. So, what do you guys see next? So far as we kind of talked a little bit about, how the women have changed who are seeking certification, the organizational structure, the industries. Mm-hmm. What are some of the challenges that you feel women entrepreneurs are going to face 2020 and beyond? And what are some of the things you're looking forward to so far as on the horizon of improvements that you're expecting to come down the pipeline for women business owners?
Oh, gosh. Women-owned businesses are amazing. They are, there is no obstacle too big for them. I've watched these businesses surpass all kinds of obstacles, and to get to where we as a group, all women entrepreneurs are just coming into their own,
flourishing,
I think.
Yeah.
Realizing that we have great input to provide. We deserve a seat at the table, and we're going after it. The other thing I see our businesses doing is locking arms with each other and doing it together. Yeah, looking at what would traditionally be a competitor and saying, hey, how can we work together? Maybe we can collaborate and expand our geography or expand our business offerings. New ways of looking at how to solve business. I believe that the whole economy and the business landscape will continue to change by leaps and bounds because of the way that women entrepreneurs work and think. Just like we talk about diversity is good for corporations, diversity is good for the economy.
Yes.
To have male-owned businesses and women-owned businesses working more and more together to just expand what we can do together.
Yeah, because small businesses fuel the economy. We employ more than large corporations. 65% of the economy is driven by small businesses.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And of that small business group, women are the fastest growing segment of small business in this country. We are almost 50% of the small businesses or privately held firms in the nation, growing at twice the rate of all companies. So we're a force that will continue to impact the way we do business in this country, and it's all for the good, I believe. So that's kind of a large general where we go from here. I think the sky's the limit. But I do think that we still face a lot of obstacles. a lot of obstacles in access to opportunities, in being taken seriously, in the belief that you really are running that company. I mean, there's still a lot of old-fashioned ideas about women-run companies and what women can do. So we have those things to overcome. We still have tremendous problems with access to capital that are outsized for women-owned businesses as compared to all small businesses. So I think education advocacy, working with our women partners in corporate America to just be more in the boardrooms and in the executive suites.
We need more corporate women on corporate boards. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we're making progress, but we have a long way to go there.
Yes.
I would say it's much easier to approach a company that has more women in their boardrooms when you are looking for an opportunity to work with them. But I think one of the biggest things that women as a whole have is we have a perseverance. We're fighters and we're survivors, and the working together to help each other solve solutions. I know a couple of weeks ago I got a call, and it was another woman-owned business, and she said, Sharon, I need to do this and this and this, and I don't know how to do it to get this contract. I said, hang on a minute. I conferenced about 4 people, and we solved her problem. But the biggest thing that we do have trouble with right now is not always just getting to the table, but getting to the table and then getting the financial backing that we need for that growth. I often tell people you have to load the wagon before you can buy the horses.
Absolutely.
But if you don't have the business, you can't employ the people.
You can't scale, you can't grow. Absolutely.
And it is a fight to get growth financial at this day and time, just an absolute fight. So I think we're seeing more of that. Banks are beginning to get involved with the council. They are becoming members. We are going to probably see a lot of women start banks because I think that is a need.
Yes.
It's surprising that in my generation, a woman could not get a credit card in the late 70s without a man signing for it.
Could not buy a home.
Could not buy a home. So, that is not as far back as it appears. But still today, it's
still
much more difficult. It's much more difficult to get that type of growth financing.
Yes, absolutely. So what else do you think we can look forward to in 2020 for the council and for the network? So any surprises up your sleeve, or do you want to? You can drop any surprises on this podcast, and I promise you I won't tell.
Hey, thanks, Janelle. We can tell secrets.
Tell secrets.
Oh gosh, 2020 is going to launch. Throughout the year, we'll be celebrating our accomplishments, but you don't just sit and rest on your laurels and look back at what you've done and pat yourself on the back. You challenge yourself to do more and grow more. And so we've developed new programmings over the last couple of years, and we'll be expanding those in 2020. We'll be looking to enhance our presence throughout our region.
Okay.
So that, as you said earlier, there are programs that happen and signature events that happen here in the DFW area that people fly in for because it's worth the travel.
Yes.
But we want to be more of a local resource as well. So like we are in the Austin area. So we'll be looking to grow our footprint in terms of day in and day out programming throughout the region. So that's a huge area of growth for us. Developing programming that is very focused, I would say.
I like the trade talks. That's a very good new program that you guys have launched.
Yeah. Getting more focused in terms of matching the WBE and her industry with the decision maker in corporate America on a more intimate basis, and that's what we do at Trade Talks.
Yeah. So you want to talk to us a little bit more about that? How do you guys come up with that?
Sure. So we have these signature events where that are procurement related, and they draw about 500 attendees here in our North Texas area. But we saw a need we need a more intimate, more focused programming. So in addition to those, we identify industries corporations that will host a trade talk in a particular industry. So, for example, it might be transportation. And so the corporate members who are transportation companies like the airlines, BNSF Railway, etc., would host this. WBEs who are either doing business in the transportation industry or are looking to do business would come to that event. So it's focused. It's not everybody. And the time that we spend there is not just about how to do business with Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. It's more about where is BNSF going? What is the strategy for the future in the transportation industry? How can I, as a woman business owner, get prepared for the trajectory or the path that they're on? And so that's the purpose of those. And we'll do more of that because it's valuable and the members are really, really responding to that. Business comes out of those connections. And so you'll see more of that. Mm-hmm. You'll see lots of celebrations. Yes. You'll see more women to women business being done and being honored and celebrated. And then more of a participation in our national organization as well. We haven't talked very much about that, but the certification that we provide is the standard is set by the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. WBANC is the acronym. And so once a business owner like yourself and Sharon are certified in my organization, you're certified, you have national certification. You're certified throughout the nation and can do business with corporations way beyond our North Texas area, and many do. So there'll be more and more opportunities in terms of education and leadership development. And there's all that information on our website. I'd love for people to come and just check us out.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys do a deep dive on the website. We're going to provide a link in the comments so that you can connect with Women's Business Council Southwest, as well as WBANC, which is our national certifying organization. But there's also signature events on the national level as well as local level. So I tap into both of those, and those are available to you once you become a certified WBE. So I know we're throwing a lot of acronyms at you guys, but we're going to make sure that the show notes kind of summarizes it well so that you can kind of point to different places to go to get more information. So again, I want to ask you guys a couple parting questions. What do you guys do for fun when you're not changing the world? What do you do?
You want to start?
Oh, well, okay. I hang out with Sharon.
Yeah, okay.
No, I was going to say earlier that when Sharon was talking, that one of the huge values of participation in this council is the relationships that are developed and the friendships,
absolutely, long-standing
friendships that develop. So I have some great mentors. Sharon is chief among them, that I've worked with for all these years and have learned so much from them, have improved the programming of the council so much through my association with people like you and Sharon.
You guys do listen and get very much want our feedback, and you act on it. So
we do.
Yes.
This is your organization, so we want to make sure we're doing what helps you and your business grow. But that's not what you asked me. You asked me. I'm sorry. I digress. You asked me what I do for fun.
Yes.
So I like to enjoy a glass of wine with my friends.
Wine is fun.
I enjoy movies. I enjoy reading. I really enjoy traveling. And I enjoy my adult daughter that I'm spending lots of time with as an adult. That's fun.
That's sweet.
So that's
what you do.
That's what I do.
All right.
Well, from my standpoint, I've made some of my best friends, and I'm sorry, I've made some of my best friends through the council, and so we do spend some time together, Debbie and other people, and I really enjoy that time together. But also, I like to travel. Travel for me kind of gets me out.
Oh, yes.
Of,
It disconnects
the business. Disconnects me, gives me a few days to breathe. I like to read. I enjoy time with my grandchildren, and sometimes I just enjoy doing nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Whether that's just sitting at home staring at a wall. I mean, just downtime in general. But
Awesome.
have a lot of fun visiting, and having a glass of wine is good, a cocktail. Martini.
that's really
might
Sharon.
go to the next level.
That's right.
But that's basically what I do.
Yeah, so guys, we do have fun. As you can tell, these ladies like a cocktail and some wine. So it's always a good sign. So, well, to close, I want to say thank you guys for spending this time with me and my audience and being such amazing guest leaders. You guys are an epitome of what I started this podcast for, to find out from you how you became who you are, and to disseminate the information to other leaders who are listening in and wanting to know how to get on the path to success. So thank you so much, so much, so much. And we're going to put links to you, Sharon, as well as Debbie, all your information, so that you guys can connect with these leaders offline and follow them and see what they're up to. I'm sure you're going to be as amazed and impressed as I am. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, absolutely. You can find all of our past episodes on iTunes, Spotify, and Google, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Be sure to subscribe to the show, rate, and leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Thank you for listening.